Well, welcome back in for Powertex product introduction. This time we're introducing stone art, which is a structure powder. And it is fantastic. I have to say that my top three, it is one of my top three products by Powertex. So let's get going through some of the basics on this. This comes in two sizes. It comes in a 250 gram bag. This 250 grams is about a little over half a pound. And the pricing on that is $17.95. And it also comes in a 2 kilogram bag. And that is 4.41 pounds, and that is $125 for that 4.41 pounds. So the mix, the stone art is a coarse. You can create art from fine to coarse textures with this. It is considered an air drying clay, but you can use it in many different ways to create stone type effects in sculptures, in paintings, on surfaces, any of your substrates. It's a unique fiber composition. It's kind of like a paper mache in consistency, but it is a wood powder mix. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. It has a very distinctive look. It is off-white in color, and it clumps. It has a clumping kind of, and it definitely has long fibers in it, so that's what makes it clump, which makes it really gorgeous for doing stone effects. Even on the label here you can see these sculptures done. And if you've been here for the other Powertex product introductions, then you would have seen my sculpture. I will put an image of it here so you can see the top portion of that sculpture was done with making the stone art into a clay. So to make a clay, you're going to add equal amounts of any of the colors of universal medium along with the stone art, and you're going to mix it by hand. So equal universal medium to stone art. And then you're going to knead it well and add more powder until you get a substance similar to a bread dough. So at this point it's very sticky to your fingers, and you should take it out of the bowl that you're mixing using gloves and knead it like dough, adding some of the stone art to the substance until it becomes non-sticky. At this point you can remove your gloves and you can knead it, and it air dries, but you can store it if it's placed in an airtight container, and it will last for up to 6 months. So you can make it with tons of different colors. I have made it in my sculpture that I showed. I used the gray universal medium, and it gives a that's what was used here, I would imagine, was the gray universal medium. I'll show that to you. And then I would imagine what they did was they then rubbed the powder into the surface and possibly did other coloring to make it, give it that white stone texture to it. But the gray is great for if you want a stone type of look. Now, you can also make your own texture paste using the stone art. So with that, you would mix it with a gel medium and marble powder. It's equal amounts of marble powder and stone art. And I would start with your decide on a measurement that you want of your stone art and your marble powder, and add those to a bowl, and then add your gel medium little bits at a time until you get it into a texture paste. And that makes a beautiful texture paste. And I will have a video linked down below showing you how to make that. You could add the dry mix to the universal medium right on to a substrate. So you could pour your universal medium on and then hand add the stone art and rub it in. That gives you some really interesting effects. I have not done that myself, but I've seen others do that. There is a how-to use informational sheet on the Powertex website, and I'll also list a link to that down below. What I have done is I have made it into not quite a clay. So when you're making the clay with equal amounts of universal medium and stone art, and you mix in it and you get to that sticky point, I stopped there and I created these pieces doing that. And I'm going to show a clip now on how I did that, so you can see this being made. And then of course came over with bisters and did some dry brushing with some pigments, but that is something that we will talk about at a later time. All right, and I'm going to show you a bit of footage of a piece that I'm in the middle of making right now using the stone art. Just before it gets to that clay-like consistency, like the bread dough, it's still a little sticky. That's when I used it on the piece, and I'm going to show you that here. So on this piece, this right in here is the stone art clay just before it gets to the bread-like consistency. It's still a little tacky. And I just took little small pieces off with my thumb. I held it in my left hand and then pressed pieces off with my right hand into the surface of this cradle board. And that is what is right here in this center area. So there is been a lot of questions about what the difference is between stone art and the Easy 3D Flex that we went over last month. So you can see here, this is the stone art, and I wanted to just show you a little sample of the Easy 3D Flex. But the stone art is a paper fiber or a wood powder mix. It's like a paper mache. The Easy 3D Flex is an inorganic powder, and we talked a little bit about that last month. Here is a sample of the 3D Easy Flex. You can see it's whiter in color. It is much smoother, much finer of a powder, and it goes down to just a dust almost. It's very fine. It sticks to stuff. The other thing is, this can give you realistic stone effects on a 2D or 3D surface. And while this makes a great clay for 2D or 3D surfaces, it's much more elastic, and it can give you really nice cracking effects if you use water with it. So it doesn't behave in the same way. And we see that by this piece that you've seen before. The top of this is using the stone art clay, and the bottom, where all the cracks are using the 3D Flex, and that gives you a really good visual of the differences between this. Now, the Easy 3D Flex, once mixed with universal medium, is weatherproof. However, the stone art is not weatherproof at that point. So you have to then go in to it and make it weatherproof by adding a varnish to the top of whatever your piece is in order for it to be weatherproof. So there are some general differences between these two powders and all the different wonderful methods that you can use them with. And this stone art has so many possibilities. I made these one to sample so that I could show you some of the things that you could do with it. So I hope that has demystified a little bit what stone art is, how it's different than the Easy 3D Flex powder, and thank you for coming along and participating. I will have product links down below, as well as videos on how to make the DIY texture paste using the stone art, as well as some marble powder. I will have marble powder, a link to marble powder down below as well, if you choose to do that and make that. I will also have, if I can find any classes using the stone art medium, then I will link those as well.